Cold City. It's come up to 23 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. And you're on our breakfast show, Good Morning Cold City, live here on ESBS Sunrise FM 96.1, the Wednesday edition of the program. The third day of the month of July, the 184th day of the year, and 181 days remaining until the year ends. Regulation of herbal medicines practice in Nigeria, Enugu State in view, shall be our focus today on matters of the moment. And right away, we'll be letting the phone lines open so that you can join us as soon as you would wish. Yeah, because our time is fast spent already. And we apologize for that, beginning the program behind schedule. But we already have seated in the studio Prince Engineer Lawrence as a FNSE PhD, the Prince of Urubu. Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, Ngozi. How are you today?
I'm good, sir.
Good morning, listeners.
He is the Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology in Enugu State. And expected to join us anytime soon is the Associate Professor Vitus Oti, the Chairman Committee on Training and Research, Nigerian Union of Practitioners of Complementary and Alternative Medicine in Nigeria. And so right away, Prince, the other day, sometime last week, there was some sort of summit that was organized by your office, your ministry, right here in Enugu. Can you let us in on what that particular outing was about?
Thank you very much, Zika. Good morning, Enugu. It's so nice to be with you again this morning. The workshop that we are having is to try to bring on board all the traditional medicine practitioners in Enugu State and integrate them fully into what government is doing right now and what government is about to do in that area of their practice. We as a ministry, we set out for a full regulation of that area of service delivery in the state. My ministry is mandated to be able to put that together. We're working very closely with the Ministry of Health to get this done. So the whole essence of all you saw last week was a prelude into the full regulation of the alternative medicine practitioners in Enugu State. You know, prior to this time, everyone have been practicing on their own, doing their various things. Of course, what we are doing absolutely has nothing to do with the native aspects of what, of course, we have to differentiate between what we are doing and the ones of the native doctors and all that stuff, and some fetish practices. And no, what we are doing here is mainly centered on the use of herbs, okay, and not orthodox medicines, to be able to cure and deal with ailments that are really affecting our people down here. Of course, we will all agree that before the advent of orthodox medicine, our people have been getting treatments from herbs. So, and these herbs also, at this material time, is something that our people are also going in for this time around. But sometimes you discover there are some ailments that you could have, you trying the orthodox medicine, and very unfortunately, without maligning or undermining the activities of the orthodox medicine practitioners, we have a whole lot of substandard medicines here and there. So you just be taking a particular medication, I think you're getting relief. But sometimes when you drop that and you go for the alternative medicines, okay, which is the these are the ones we're discussing about right now, and you discover that you just get quickly healed. You understand? So, but we are looking at the regulation of that area of service delivery so that we can bring all of them on board. They understand that there has to be dosage, there has to be, the packaging, the processing. The state government is highly interested, okay? All of the people who are involved in this, we are asking all of them to come on board. So we're having a workshop that is cut across the 6 educational centers in Enugu State. We've done 3 as at yesterday. Today, my team will be in Udenu also, and after tomorrow they will be in Nsukka, and the grand finale will be at Abwani. So that's exactly what we are doing. By the time we are done with this, I want to assure Enugu that we won't have the effect of those practitioners anymore, because anybody who practices alternative medicine in Enugu State that does not come under the umbrella of Enugu State government, well, once we're done with this workshop, there's going to be a task force that will be set up that will clamp down on any of these persons. Because once we're done with this, we will now proceed into the licensing and then getting these people on board, so that we know those who are actually practicing genuine herbs for treatment and those who are doing the other things that are not actually related into what we're doing. If anybody seeks the other type, they can go to them privately, but it has nothing to do with that. And the state government cannot guarantee that. All right? Okay. So that's what we're doing at the moment.
Prince, it's actually apt to ask about the need, okay, to have them regulated. I mean, these plants, some of the herbs, okay, all of the herbs are naturally cultivated. They are homegrown. And it's amazing to even know that some persons may be faking anything or be termed not genuine. So I need you to actually make it clearer the need to regulate herbal medicine practitioners.
Okay, because like the herbs are all there in our various bushes, even some, behind our buildings. But you and I know that myself, I don't know the herbs, all right? And I'm very certain that if you're not in the practice, you may not also know them. So, and one thing we're trying to do is, which is part of what while we're going to this regulation aspect of it, is to make sure that we want to actually identify you with the particular element that you can deal with. Okay, because this idea of you just come on board, you bring one product and you tell us that it cures everything, that's actually, so it cures it. So no, we don't want that kind of practice anymore. If you're dealing with assisting women who are having difficulty with pregnancy and all that, we know that is actually your area of practice. If you are dealing with those with asthma, we know. If you are dealing with diabetes, if you are dealing with heart disease, if you are dealing with cancer, any kind of disease that you are dealing with, okay, then we will be able to identify. How do I identify? We have to first of all work in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. We have to give you people who have such disease. You need to treat them, and we cannot take them to lab, certify them that they are okay. We can help you now to market you, knowing quite well that the Enugu State government has tested you, and we're very certain that you are worth your honors. So it's no longer a situation where you just wake up and you tell us one medicine can cure all things and we give you a patient. No, it's not possible. So that's part of the reason why we need to identify the genuine ones and keep them away from the fake.
All right, while you are on the move to regulate it, some of these medicines are actually in the market already. Like when you go to a pharmacy, some pharmacies have lots of traditional medicines. Most of them have it on a different shelf. All right, so do you have plans of going to the pharmacies to actually ascertain for real why they have this? Is it certified? Some of them are actually not made in Nigeria. Some of them are made in other countries, and they are not the normal medicine that we're used to. Something that you actually have to drink. Some of them come in tablets. I've seen a lot of them. All right. So are there plans to go to these places to actually take a look at what they are already selling to people?
Yeah, that's why I told you that after now, by the time we fully regulate them, we have to set up a task force. Okay. You will understand that we are not NAFDAC. Okay, we're just a ministry. And as a ministry, there is a limit to what we can do. All right, so we don't overstep our bounds. Okay, and for those ones who are already in most of the pharmacies, from my little experience of the ones that I have seen, most of them have NAFDAC numbers. They are not NAFDAC certified. So being NAFDAC certified, we don't have any right to query what NAFDAC has certified. You understand? So those ones who are on the shelves and are NAFDAC certified, people are free to trade. It's still left for you and your conscience to know if you're going to buy this or not. But what we're dealing with here is those that are within Enugu. Okay? So, like you just said, you have a lot of these other alternative medicines in our pharmacies. That's actually part of what we are trying to do. We want to have those that are of Enugu State origin in those shelves. there are some of these ones that I also take. There's this Uzi bitter or stuff like that. Sometimes when you want to clean your colon and all that, you can just get those things are locally made. This medicine that are done produced somewhere in Ogun State. You see them either Ogun State, either in Lagos State. That's basically. But because of the packaging, the processing, it now makes it a bit more commercialization than what we have here. Why? Because when they go through the right processing, the right packaging, then you invite NAFDAC, which will be the responsibility of our ministry, to bring in NAFDAC on board to say, okay, sorry, we have on our own, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health, I've looked at this and we feel that this is fit based on, so you can go ahead, the state government can pay for NAFDAC certification of that medication. What we're actually interested in are two things. One, that we have products that are of Enugu State origin, that are made by our people, and they are genuine. And secondly, through these products also, we want to see how we can use it to show up our GDP. Because when once we start making some of these products, and they are very effective, and efficacy is something that people can boast about, people will come buying them and we'll start shipping them out of the state. And once this is being done, more money comes into the state and our GDP grows. So that's the essence.
Now, Prince, obviously there's a shift from the orthodox medicine to these alternative ones we're talking about today. And it's also it's somewhat surprising to know that it is the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology that has taken the lead in ensuring the regulation of herbal medicine practices. And so, yes, preparation of medications, herbal or not, is science-based. And so it's easy to understand the role of your ministry. But Choma mentioned some of these foreign herbs coming in tablet forms, and that is something we do not associate our own kind of herbs, except in recent times. We know what herbs are. We know most of them that we have to cook ourselves, prepare ourselves, and some of them come in powdery form. But now there seems to be an infusion intent. I don't know. I need you to explain that rule. Is it just to regulate them, or to regulate their practices in terms of ensuring that there's genuinity, okay, and that there is a supervisory role played by the government as against them just it being an all-fielder, anybody gets in. If you do not have a job, if your business fails, you become a herbal practitioner? Or is there any deliberate attempt to infuse sciences into herbal medicine practitioners practicing in Enugu State?
Okay, thank you very much, Sika. The point is that actually, when I was trying to address our question, though I didn't dig deeper into it, the Enugu State government is planning on revolutionizing these medicine practitioners and their activities. We're trying to bring in some equipment, okay, that will help them in the processing, because like you said, prior to this, you don't have them in tablets, you don't have them in caplets, you don't have them in, so we're trying to set up this regulatory thing, get it done. We can now sit down, understand their needs, the areas which they want the government support, the sort of machinery they need and all that. Then the state government can now go into it. They have a secretariat already and all that. Well, our own whole idea is to get that secretariat fully equipped with the right machineries for the processing, which is very, very important. Okay, the processing of their medication, and then secondly also for the packaging. Okay, so these two things are what will be able in most cases to give whatever product you have the face value for anybody to come shopping for it. There is a way you will prepare a particular medication and nobody will ever want to take it. But of course, like quinine and all that, because there are some of these alternative medicines that are more bitter than quinine. So if they are processed and they are put in capsule forms, and someone can swallow them more easily. And if they are put in caplets form, some people can swallow it more. So we're looking at not just having them cooked and all that, and then at the end of the day, that is why, because most of those ones that we cook and all, if you don't take them that day and the next day, you discover that the efficacy may not be there anymore. So we're going into full processing and packaging of their products, and that's the area the state government want to step in.
Okay, I heard you also mention documentation or something, so that anyone that is not recognized by the government, anyone who patronizes them, is doing them that at their own risk. Maybe I'll have to let the phone line open before we continue with this conversation. The numbers to call are 0907 275 9950, 0907 275 9950, or you call us on 0706 815 8029, 0706 815 8029. Our focus today on matters of the moment is the regulation of herbal medicine practices in Nigeria and Enugu State in view, because Enugu State government has indicated interest and has shown that particular interest by starting with a workshop for all the herbal medicine practitioners in Enugu State. And so if you're genuine, you're expected to have attended the already held workshop or the ones that will come in the nearest future, just so that you will be under the government supervision. So you join the conversation, bring your questions, your comments, or your observations. We are still talking with the Honorable Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology, Prince Engineer Lawrence Eze, FNSE, PhD. Doc, let's continue with our conversation around this. Are there things that users, I know that the regulation is is for the practitioners, but then the benefits will largely be for the users. At the end of this all, you have said you want to achieve having them regulated to, to ensure that genuinity is part of the practice. For the user out there, what would you tell us?
Well, for the user out there, like I said before, this whole thing has to do with individual opinions and individual needs, all right? There are some people I know that hardly even go for the orthodox medicine. They choose to deal with these herbal medicines in most of the ailments that they have, and they've also remained very strong and healthy. That does not in any way take away the importance of the orthodox medicine. All right, so it has to do with the individual, it has to do with individual cases, it has to deal with the belief and all that, okay? Because sometimes even the doctors will tell you, oh, sorry, we're giving you this medication, we'll give to Mr. A and it's not working on you and all that. So you need to try to reset your mindset so that we can be able to give chance for the medications to work. So which means it boils down to the belief. It boils down to what you feel can be able to take care of your ailment. So psychologically also, it comes into play as well. That psychology is also, because that's why the doctors can say, sorry, this person is not healing that speedily. Bring relatives, bring some people, loved ones, you need to be coming around. Those ones are not medicine, but they're part of the psychology that is attached to the treatment. Exactly. So it has to do with individual cases.
All right, now I'm talking about orthodox medicine, talking about herbal medicine. You know that sometimes the people who sell these drugs tell you can take it alongside whatever medicine you're already taking. So sometimes I'm afraid of that. I've heard it so many times. You're like, I take these vitamins. How is this okay that I take this and this at the same time? So are there plans to at least bring in doctors and then people who are involved in herbal medicine to come together to decide what they can or cannot do, what goes with what? Because if you combine the wrong medications, they may give you the opposite of what you're looking for. So are there plans to bring in doctors?
Like I said when I started, I told you that we're collaborating with the Ministry of Health on this. We're not just doing this alone. Okay, so the Ministry of Health in Enugu State is fully involved in what we're doing. So even when I told you about how to certify that, okay, you are good enough in this area and you are not as good as that in the other area. So we have to also give you patients who have such element. Of course, my ministry doesn't deal with patients. The Ministry of Health does. So if such cases arise, it's the Ministry of Health also that will now be able to give and say, okay, sorry, it's this so you can treat, let's see. And then you're able to treat and then we see results and it gives us the right results. Then the ministry can obviously ask you, advise you. Because I do not really think that any herbal practitioner who is not dealing with multivitamins, okay, will just ask you to take his medication that is meant to deal with a particular ailment alongside with some other orthodox medicine also that you are already taking, because it could be very counterproductive. Because in most cases you might decide that you might discover that both of them have the same content. So you could be overdosing yourself with the medication. You understand? So these are part of why this regulation is very, very much in place. Because we need to bring them, the answers on the workshop that is going on, there are a lot of professors in that field, okay, in this field of herbal medicine, that are talking to them, lecturing them, getting them. You know, most of these herbal practitioners are not all that educated people who have all the given knowledge, educational knowledge and all that. But because some of them are inherent in nature, they inherited it from their parents or inherited it from family line and bloodline and all that.
Some lines as well.
Sorry? Some land
yeah.
also, some land also. But so you can now see that in that case, okay, you now have those who actually might have inherited, but they have taking their time to advance their course by going to school and acquiring certain certifications to a point of a professorship, okay, in that line of service delivery. So they are the ones that are now lecturing them and getting them to understand the best way to practice things. And by the time they are done with the workshop, there is a whole lot of workshop materials that are being shared to them. It helps to guide them to understand a few things about what you're just saying. You don't tell someone that to be taking this and taking the other one,
I mean,
because it might
that
jeopardize the
before.
person's life at the end of the day.
All right, Prince. The area of sensitization, they are acquiring knowledge to match with their skills. That's what your ministry is currently doing. Are you also impacting in them the necessity to also sensitize the public, or is it your duty as well to sensitize the society about the usage of herbal medicines, or are you also going to have regulation? I will let you understand clearer what I'm talking about. For a very long time, we are here in Enugu. We've heard herbal medicine practitioners come on radio stations to talk about their products. In all of them, these ones conduct diagnostic researches on human persons. They also they tell us about the usage of machines to do that, and then they talk about their medications. Most times they ask you to see someone who is not a medical doctor but who have a way of finding out what is wrong with the person, and then they talk extensively about their product. Now NBC has done much to regulate such method of sensitization. That is not sensitization, but advertisement. So they have done, that is their bid to ensure that not everything goes out there. But in terms of the sciences behind all of this, are you sensitizing them enough to sensitize the public, or are you going to continue with the sensitization as a ministry as well?
Well, the both will go. Like you said, of course, I'm happy you said that NBC has done something about it. But besides that, anybody who comes up again and is doing that in Enugu State here, and is not brought under this umbrella of government and is not regulated and is not licensed to practice in Enugu State, will never have that done. If the person does that, I'm very sorry to say that that person will be apprehended by the security agencies and the person will be prosecuted by Enugu State government. All right. So, having said that, we are going to sensitize the public for that, and also because when I say regulation, it's not just about the workshop as the regulation. There's a whole lot. We're partnering with the NOPCAN, national body also.
Okay. The NOPCAN is the Nigerian Union of
NOPCAN.
Practitioners of
Yes.
Complementary and
Yes.
Alternative
Yeah,
Medicine.
yes, we're partnering with them also on this. We're partnering also with the Ministry of Health on this. There's a whole, because some of them have set up their clinics. Setting up a clinic is allowed, okay, in the alternative medicine practitioners aspect of businesses. They have to set up their clinic, but have to go and look at what you call your clinic. It doesn't meet the standard. Is it fit for purpose? Is it good enough for people to go? Because if you start taking it, because in one of the workshops that I was there, that I participated, I heard when one of the resource persons that was actually lecturing said, look, you cannot wake up and take a knife and say you want to dissect somebody, okay, all in the name of, because some of them try to even indulge in such kind of stuff, because by the time you want to have a handshake, oh, I am doctor this, I am doctor that. Which of the doctor are you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Add end.
Yes. So maybe you should be like a H doctor, herbal doctor, so that we know the kind of doctor that you are. Because you now have those doctors everywhere. So we need to identify which of the doctors are. So before you take up a knife and start working on somebody's body and kill somebody's child for nothing. So that's why we need to be very certain that yes, you are doing the right thing. And that's what exactly the Enugu State government has set out to achieve here.
All right, we're moving towards the end of this show. I hope we still find time to talk about most things here. Now that you have started with this regulation, okay, with the workshop towards, your intent is to regulate the sector. Workshop is one step. We have talked about the inclusivity of even sensitization. Are there other things you intend to do? After now, the documentation is expected to follow suit. But are there other things?
Yeah, after now, we're going to have a very huge exhibition at the stadium. Okay, we're having a trade fair. Okay, after now, on these alternative medicines. After now, because we're taking very keen interest in monitoring the activities to know who and who, okay, can deal with what. We don't just want people gathering other innocent persons and mortgaging their lives. So when we go into that trade fair, which is going to happen at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in the next few months, it's going to take close to a month. We want to understand from the people how the patronage is going. We want to understand what area of this medicine you are practicing actually. So we keep a very close monitoring, and by the time we are done with that, that's when we can now begin to gradually sieve, the right ones from the wrong ones, and we can know those that the state government can license, and those. It's not that you participated in a workshop that you must be licensed.
Automatically you're licensed.
No. If you are not qualified to be licensed, Enugu State government will not license you, because we cannot just give license you to go and be killing people unconsciously. All right, so that's actually part of what we're doing.
All right, and this also means an end to Ndane Bialiabu, because there are so many of them.
Yeah, we'll catch any of them. We'll put the person behind the bars.
Even
We're very serious about it.
Vehicle vendors.
All these vehicle vendors that are putting and selling all and making all this noise. Immediately we are done with this workshop, and you are not brought under this regulation, I am not licensed. As you see your vehicle anywhere, we impound your vehicle, we impound your products, we bring all of whoever, we get all of you arrested and prosecute you. So you can't just come into Enugu now and start to peddle all kinds of things, damaging people's organs, liver, kidney, and all that, unconsciously. Even the people, some of them who are seated there and telling you that one product cures all, they don't even know what the product is. They don't even know what is inside. They may not even be taking it.
Yeah.
But they sell it to people on a daily basis, and when you go home and the person takes it and the person doesn't wake up in the morning, the neighbors will know what would have killed the person.
Of course.
You see the problem. Because you are giving this person this medicine, there's no dosage. You don't even tell him how to, the quantity you can take. They just put some funny. Of course, if the same medicine you see there every day, in the hot scorch of the sun. Of course, you know that sun affects the efficacy of medication,
Yes.
no matter whether herbal
Of any
yes.
chemical
Of course.
product,
So you put it on this under the sun, and every day I'm making noise and dancing around and playing music and disturbing the neighborhood. So if you continue with that in Enugu State and you are not brought under the Enugu State government regulation, we are going to impound you and your products, and very unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, you go to jail.
So, okay, Prince, because you're here, let's just get something of you about your ministry. What's going on currently with the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology in Enugu State, other than away from the herbal medicine practitioners?
Okay, yeah, there's a lot going on. At the very moment, we are gradually getting into the main deal, the main business of the day. Okay, so my ministry is moving into digital economy. Okay, last week, His Excellency, my humble self, and a couple of other commissioners, Commissioner for Education, SPA to the Governor on Digital Economy, and SPA to the Governor on ICT. His Excellency took all of us to NCC. Okay, we were at the NCC office last week. Okay, for a whole lot of engagements with the NCC authorities on digital economy. And what that implies is that Enugu State is at the verge of waiving the right of way, for fiber optics laying in the state. And once that is done, it unlocks a whole lot of potentials for the state. So this is the big bang, the big thing coming in our ministry at the moment. And this is going to roll out a whole lot of grants in the state that are worth millions of dollars into the state. And they are grants and they're not low.
They are grants, they are not loans, which means there's no paying back.
No.
Okay, so it behoves, what would you tell someone who is interested in tech now, in science and all, or innovation, people who make new things, what would you tell them to do in order to leverage on this opportunity? When you talk about grants, my whole nerves became alive again. So talk to us.
Yeah, I was just telling people, especially our young minds, that they should get ready for the big thing that is coming, because there is no way we can get this better other than the fact that we're going to get our youths, okay, to be computer savvy. We're going to get them to be technologically aware. Part of what waiving of this right of way is coming with is that it's going to increase the broadband penetration in the state. It's going to take the fiber optics lane and take internet into our hinterlands. All the rural communities in Enugu State, we have internet facilities. Not only when you have a mast in your community that you can now have internet facilities. No, you're going to be having internet virtually in all the villages in Enugu State. So from your closet, you can participate in any form of virtual training. You can participate in any form of digital economic activities. Okay, because once you have an Android phone, okay, or any form of smartphone, you can do all kinds of businesses from your bedroom. So that is basically what it is. So the young minds now tell them, please, if there is anything you can acquire now, it is tech knowledge. Any knowledge in tech now is the end thing right now. That's where the whole world is going into, because it's the tech that gives you all the leverage to get everything you can get right now. In fact, it's more of a better industry than the oil and gas industry, because you can see a whole lot of other countries who do not have oil and they're doing so exceedingly well because of tech. The Chinese, the Americans, and so many other countries,
Are there openings for people who are like tech gurus to join in and teach people? Yes, the people who we are trying to teach will come around, but do you have like openings? Because I know quite a number of people who make a huge living because they know technology, they studied computer sciences, they are computer gurus. Alright, so are there openings for people like that to also come in?
Yes, there are. That's quite a Of course, the big trainings we are going to be having in the near future, we're not going to be the ones handling the training ourselves. Okay, we will engage these tech gurus you are referring to be able to undertake them in those trainings. So, and you are going to be training them in your own area of specialization. Okay, so it's something that we're bringing everybody on board. I told you that my ministry is collaborating with the Enugu State community system, okay, ecosystem community rather. So the ecosystem community in Enugu State is a very huge community that when you meet them, you will be so amazed. These young chaps and what they are into. You'll be wondering, are you sure this is happening? And what is happening? One thing you will understand is any business you don't really deal with at that moment, you may not really understand that it is going on, and you won't even understand the secret of the business until you get involved. Because when I got involved in the ministry and I started meeting them, that I understood that Indigo is doing exceedingly well when it comes to tech. So we're going to expand this, we're going to leverage on it and make sure that more and more youths come into this. We just want to have our young minds to be financially independent, and the best way to get this done is through tech.
All right, Dr. Eze, time is fast spent already. You remember we didn't start off in good time. Thank you for finding time to be with us again on Matters of the Moment.
Thank you very much, Ngezi.
Prince Engineer Lawrence Eze, FNSE, PhD, the Prince of Urubu, is the Commissioner for Innovation, Science and Technology in Enugu State, and he has come to let us in on the workshop his ministry recently organized for Herbal Medicine practitioners in Enugu State. And the focus of today's Matters of the Moment is aptly titled Regulation of Herbal Medicine Practitioners in Enugu State, in Nigeria, Enugu State in View. And yes, the dynamics surrounding the regulation of herbal medicine in Nigeria is just a way to preserve what we have, and at the same time have a certain supervision and orderliness attached with it, so that we do not get it wrongly, even while we are trying to do it our own way. And that's it on Matters of the Moment this Wednesday morning, as we rise from the set to make way for Tochukwu Ugu to bring you Sunrise Sports. We invite you to join us tomorrow for our Thursday edition, a special edition of this program, tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. My name is Ngozika Mba, and I was the lead anchor of the show. Good morning, Coal City.
My name is Chioma Agulana. Enjoy the rest of your day.